And that's State Senator Don Shooter of Yuma driving away from 12 News reporter Joe Dana last week. Shooter still didn't want to answer questions about questionable personal spending in his campaign account. Shooter's recent campaign finance report shows he paid himself $18,000 last year in gas and mileage expenses during a non-election year, after also claiming gas and mileage reimbursement from the state, as is his right. He also paid $15,000 in legal fees to defend himself after barging into his grandson's school. Did Don Shooter do anything wrong, Chip Scutari, with that campaign report?
Well, I was going to say, let me answer this. Let me put on my PR hat for a second, because I was once a reporter with Mary Jo. Now I'm in the PR world. My advice to him was, when you find people come down the Capitol, just answer the questions so you're not there over and over coming to talk to them about. Answer the questions, be straight with reporters, and then it's going to go away. Now it may linger. I don't know, maybe he'll change his tune in the future. But that'd be my one free bit of PR advice for Senator Shooter. Just go there, take a few questions, answer what you can, and then be done with it.
I should add, I gave him 2.5 hours to answer on Thursday. Had some time to kill, so we were just waiting for the senator. And he was still hiding in his office, even though I was told he wasn't there. But again, did he do anything wrong, John Laredo? Legally, the way he spent this money?
Well, legally, no. Ethically, yeah, probably.
So legally, no.
Well,
you can claim gas and mileage.
You can double dip?
You can double dip like that?
I mean, I'm not an attorney, but I mean, from what I can recall, the rules are purposely very vague, you know. And I mean, but here's the issue: is that you get reimbursed for your gas and mileage.
And he travels a long way from Yuma.
Through your legislative per diem. I mean, that's factored in. They calculate how far you live from the Capitol, and you have to sign in and all that. So he's getting reimbursed for his mileage anyway. To go back and take it out of your campaign finances and as well for his legal defenses, I think the issue there is that that's not necessarily why people donated to him in the first place. That was not the understanding. It was for his campaign. So he's going to have to answer to his donors first of all, and then to his voters.
Yeah.
The legality question, is any of this illegal?
I don't think I think, as John said, the rules are deliberately vague, and the rules attorneys will probably say this is fine. It becomes an issue between the candidate and his constituents. You know, legal fees for the school altercation happened in Yuma, not at the state capitol. He wasn't, I mean, he at one point, I guess he did say, you know, do you know who I am, and mention that he was a state senator, but he was hardly doing state business when he was down visiting his grandson's school last year.
Now, when you say rules attorneys, whose rules attorneys?
The ethics attorneys in the House and Senate. In
the House and Senate?
Yes.
Who are appointed by?
The president and the speaker.
The Republican president and the speaker, who are now appointed rules attorneys who will pass judgment on the Republican chair of the Senate Finance Committee.
Well, now, this is interesting, because this will probably revive the call that we hear almost every year for the Arizona might need an outside agency, somebody else to sort of weigh in on the propriety of the actions of and to help guide the actions of elected officials, because, you know, it's sort of a closed loop right now.
It is a closed loop, and when I was at the Capitol, it was clear to me the Senate staff was protecting Don Shooter. They were trying to keep us away from him, and even going so far as to mislead me, telling me he wasn't in his office when I could clearly see that he was.
Yeah.
I was standing right there.
I mean, like I said before, if he would go out there and just be a straight shooter, pun intended, and answer the questions from the media, I think this problem, he could talk about it. If it's not illegal, I'm not an attorney, but if, you know, he can, maybe there's a legitimate explanation, I don't know.
What could you say?
That's exactly it. What could you say about that 30,000 miles of travel, as Lori Roberts calculated, in a non-campaign year? He could have driven across the country 5 times.
He's a dedicated public servant.
Very dedicated.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
We are going to keep following you, Don Shooter. When we come back, our panel's fearless political predictions and a lot of comments about last week's interview with the Republican behind the John McCain censure. Stay with us.